Pedestrian Zones, using low-cost countermeasures where they are needed most. The number of pedestrians killed on streets across the United States has increased between 2010 and 2020. It's an unacceptable trend, and many communities are determined to take action. As a transportation professional, your agency may be researching how best to make your community safer for all people walking. The pedestrian zone approach aims to focus safety improvements in small geographic areas that account for a large portion of a community's pedestrian deaths and injuries. It's a simple concept with huge safety potential, especially for groups that may traditionally be overlooked or underserved in transportation decisions. It uses low-cost countermeasures that can be deployed quickly in multiple locations and combined with other outreach and behavioral-focused road safety strategies. And it works. Evaluations of pedestrian zone applications find fewer crashes and injuries to pedestrians after implementation. Instead of being reactive or focusing attention at a single intersection or roadway segment, the pedestrian zone approach considers risk factors that may be present across a limited area that may have unique, shared characteristics or represent a cluster of crashes. We're talking about places like downtown business districts, neighborhoods, and university campuses. If you can make the areas where more people are walking safer with low-cost interventions, then those are higher impact safety improvements. Working to understand and solve problems within the established pedestrian zones allows agencies to deploy systemic treatments to solve identified problems in communities and to do it with available resources. It's not a huge departure from what you're likely doing already. In fact, it may be able to help strengthen efforts already underway. And it's also a real-world opportunity to address pedestrian safety through the safe system lens, which benefits all road users. Some of the many benefits to treating pedestrian safety through a zone approach include identifying and treating smaller areas that share common risk factors and characteristics being an effective way to move toward a more systemic risk-based approach. Using zones allows communities to integrate valuable context into proposed interventions, such as areas that share cultural or socio-demographic similarities. Treating a zone is more efficient use of resources than targeting individual segments or intersections and treating them one at a time. It is also a more efficient way than trying to treat an entire city or target only a subset of its pedestrian safety problems. And zones can be integrated with existing activities. The good news is that there is a pedestrian zone guide with companion countermeasure resource guide now available that give details about each step as well as countermeasure selection. Find it at www.pedbikeinfo.org/pedzone. Here's a quick overview of what the planning and implementation process looks like. The first step in this process involves selecting a basis or focus for selecting the zones, such as crashes involving older people, issues in equity focus areas, or some other focus. In step 2, data are mapped and spatially analyzed to identify patterns. An agency will identify and define the boundaries of potential zones in step 3. And through deliberation and further calculations, they will finalize their zone of interest in step 4. Using the pedestrian safety zones first involves a careful evaluation and diagnosis of safety problems within the zone. In step 6, the agency will select program activities and countermeasures that can be used to treat problems within the zone. The agency will implement their countermeasures and programs in step 7. Following implementation, step 8 involves evaluation of these activities to determine their effectiveness. The Countermeasure Resource Guide, which accompanies the Pedestrian Zone Guide, helps communities select and package treatments that address the safety problems observed within the zones. This might be crosswalk enhancements, changes to intersection geometry, lighting improvements, or other engineering changes that support safer, walkable environments. The next consideration is combining those changes to the roadway environment with outreach activities and other behavioral-focused road safety strategies to round out the safety programs. Once implemented, these countermeasures and programs are monitored and evaluated to provide feedback for their improvement and to determine their impact on the observed pedestrian safety problems. See Low-Cost Pedestrian Safety Zones, an 8-step handbook at www.pedbikeinfo.org/pedzone to determine whether pedestrian zones could be an appropriate approach in your community, and see a template action plan that can be tailored to a community's specific needs. The Countermeasure Resource Guide gives more detail for countermeasures and program selection. Reversing the trend of pedestrian deaths will take all of us together. Thank you for your commitment to safety.